we had 240,000 people, it would be less, a lot less milk. This is what it's going to take to keep us at a minimum of 5. If anything we can do better, then hopefully we can do better. But this is going to, that's a minimum. Okay. You talked about, you know, if we charge people to go put out a grass fire at their house, you talk about, well, you know, who we charging to respond to their houses. And you know what's amazing to me is you've been here this long and you don't know that. That's amazing. Now, what we're asking to do here is to send it to the voters to vote for 10 mills. Just the unincorporated area is going to vote on it, up or down. If they want it, they vote for it. If they don't want it, they just won't vote. Okay? Mr. Terrio, you are a unincorporated area resident. And I'm an ex-firefighter. And I would still go to your house and put that fire out for you. That says a lot for me. But it would be nice to pay these guys for their performance. The city of Lafayette is getting the shaft right now, okay? This proposal is going to help the city of Lafayette recoup their funding and get a heck of a lot more than they were getting before. Now, you know, Mr. Nakam put out his insurance papers the last time he was here. We talked about this, and he showed that large increase if we go to a 7. That's one person. Can you imagine the 70,000 people, so you're figuring 30,000 homes out there, not counting businesses? What that's going to cost? This is nothing. I want to see somebody put a price tag on a child's head who lives in the unincorporated areas of this parish. I'm going to vote against this. I want to know what the price tag is to save that child. We're giving it a shot right here. We're trying to help. So I'm asking this council to support this effort, to send it to the voters. If you vote no, I hope you sleep good tonight. Thank you.
All right, moving right along. Not seeing any other council discussion, any blue cards? Okay. Please call for the vote. Oh, I gotta turn your mic on. There it is.
District 1,
Absolutely yes.
District 2,
Yes.
District 3,
Yes.
District 4,
Yes.
District 5,
No.
District 6,
Yes.
District 7,
Yes.
District 8,
Yes.
District 9.
No.
Motion approved. Resolution 57, 2018. A resolution of the Lafayette City Parish Council acknowledging receipt of and approving certain financial receipts for fiscal year 1819 as submitted by Acadiana Open Channel Incorporated.
Motion by Councilman Bellard, second by Councilman Comp. Any council discussion? Seeing none, any blue cards?
No, sir, but Mr. Chair, just want to make a note for the viewing audience that District 8, we have a tech coming in to work with her voting monitor, so we are trying to get that resolved.
Okay, all right.
We just don't want her public knowing that she's not voting.
Got you. All right. And before we move forward, as the firemen are walking out, I want to thank you guys for being here, and thank you for your service. Appreciate everything. Okay. Please call the vote.
District 2, District 3,
Yes.
District 4,
Yes.
District 5,
Yes.
District 6,
Yes.
District 7,
Yes.
District 8,
Yes.
District 9,
Yes.
District 1.
Yes.
Motion is approved. Resolution 58, 2018, a resolution of the Lafayette City Parish Council authorizing the submission of an application with the U.S. Department of Justice Office of Justice Programs for a 2018 Burn Justice Assistance Grant Program for the Lafayette Police Department.
Motion by Councilman Bellard, second by Councilman Lewis. Not seeing any council discussion. Any blue cards?
Yes, sir.
Please call the roll.
District 3, District 4,
Yes.
District 5,
Yes.
District 6,
Yes.
District 7,
Yes.
District 8,
Yes.
District 9,
Yes.
District 1,
Yes.
District 2. The motion is approved. Resolution 59, 2018, a resolution of the Lafayette City Parish Council approving the action taken by Lafayette Economic Development Authority Board of Commissioners to set the adjusted ad valorem tax millage rate at the rate of 1.68 mils for tax collection of the Parish of Lafayette for 2018.
Got a motion by Councilman Bellard and second by Councilman Cone. Any council discussion? Seeing none. Blue cards?
No, sir?
Okay, please call the roll.
District 4? District 5?
Yes.
District 6?
Yes.
District 7?
Yes.
District 8?
Yes.
District 9?
Yes.
District 1?
Yes.
District 2? District 3? The motion is approved.
Okay, we'll now move to reports and/or discussion items. Remind everyone that item 10 has been pulled from the agenda. We'll move to item number 11.
Report for Lafayette Regional Airport.
Okay.
Good evening, members of the council and Mayor President. I saw him, but he must have walked out. Thank you for allowing us to come before you today. We are excited as we have just started our demolition project at the airport, which makes way now for the new terminal. Of course, we have Mr. Gilbo, who is always here, sitting in the back. I want to make sure I acknowledge him. He's the Vice President of the Lafayette Airport Commission. My name is Valerie Garrett, for those who don't know me, and I sit as the chairwoman of the Airport Commission, and I'm going to introduce Stephen, who will take it away.
Good evening. Stephen Pico, Executive Director, Lafayette Regional Airport. When I met with Miss Councilwoman Cook, she told me I had to do something a little different. So I came up with the good, the bad, the ugly, but we're going to go with good, better, best, better, best, okay? So with that. Real quick slide presentation. We are very short on our slide presentation tonight. So the good or the ugly, if you would call it, the TSA security checkpoint line, everyone knows that that's been an issue with us. We'll go through that as well. The better is Frontier Airlines, and the best is the terminal program update. Security checkpoint at Lafayette, there's what's called enhanced security in place at this time. So that means that we're going to have longer lines. There are things that are going on that are unique to Lafayette, and that's why those lines are caught longer. We've done several surveys of individuals getting to the airport less than 90 minutes, particularly in the morning flights when there's over 300 passengers trying to get through that checkpoint. That causes a bottleneck. Passengers are still not what's called leaving their computers or taking their computers out, and so they're not divesting themselves, that's the word I was looking for, of their items prior to getting to the checkpoint. So what we did is we reconfigured the checkpoint line in an attempt to use the mentality, as I think we've called it, the Walt Disney effect, is that you're standing in line, you're watching other people doing things, you're in line, so you know you're going to get on the ride. If you're not in line, you're kind of like, okay, maybe I'm not going to get on this ride. But letting people see others getting divesting themselves, and hopefully then they'll see one person getting rid of their computer, taking it out, and then they will follow suit in helping move people through the line. So we reconfigured that. We've had two independent reviews. One is by Sides and Associates, and the other was by TSA. Both found that it is not an issue of TSA. It is more of a function of our passengers are continuing to arrive late. We've done a mass media campaign with on the air, on radio, on our website, advising passengers to get there 90 minutes prior to their flight and working with our airlines. What we are limited with is a limited space, but in our new terminal we will have 2 lines with the ability to expand to 3 lines, so that should address that. The better is Frontier Airlines has announced service into Lafayette. It starts on October 24th with a Wednesday, Saturday. As of today, I was in conversation with Frontier Airlines, and that's called a 3-6 schedule, so Wednesday would be the third day of the week, 6 would be the Saturday. They now moved that to a 3-6 and a 1-5 schedule, so that means Monday and Friday as well. So they have put new flights in. We've heard through and typing it ourselves, we found that it's very hard to get on the bookings right now. So that's what they were looking for, so that's good news for us. So it will be an Airbus 320. It is the largest aircraft that will be servicing Lafayette for passenger service. So we look forward to seeing that large airplane sitting at the terminal, and now more than we originally thought. So the aircraft will depart Orlando, come to Lafayette, then Lafayette, Denver. It'll turn, or another aircraft will come back, Lafayette, Orlando. And so that'll be the route of flight. So getting to the better, this is the terminal, or the best, I'm sorry, it's the terminal program update. So again, some of the funding sources that we're working through at the airport is Lafayette taxpayers passed the tax. We raised money from that. The FAA, Federal Aviation Administration, has maxed out the maximum amount of money they can put in discretionary funds for our airport at $20 million. So the airport we haven't received it yet, but checks in the mail, right? So but they have agreed to that. The Louisiana Department of Transportation has funding inside of it. FP&C, which is unique. This will be the first project in the state of Louisiana that FP&C does not own the asset at the end of the day. Usually FP&C works for LSU, things like that, and so they end up, it's a state-owned asset at the end of the day, but it will not be a state-owned asset. Working with EDA, Transportation Security Administration, our passenger facility charge, our customer facility charge, our bonding, short-term, and airport funds. So all these have different types of funding mechanisms or ways and methodologies of using that. So we're trying to make everything come together and work. So here's what the terminal is going to look like, which many of you have seen before. Next slide. So our enabling demo, which we did last week, we had an announcement where we were starting demolition. This picture was taken Friday, I believe. So more of that building is coming down. So the notice to proceed was issued. The contractor is mobilized and work has begun, and we're beginning. I'd like to hit the hyperlink, and it's on our webpage. Hopefully this works for us. Our webpage has, there you go. It'll buffer, but that is a live shot of what's going on at the airport. And so at the end of the project, a user can go onto this webpage and watch the building come out of the ground in time lapse. So that's the building, and that's our new fence line. And so there's an airplane actually taxiing. I can see it right there. But if you go to our webpage and go on the new LFT terminal section, you can go and see the live live camera. So that's a pretty neat function. And we'll be updating pictures. We have someone on staff that can operate a drone, so we'll be doing pictures of it as well. So where we are now is what's called GMP1. We're working with Lemoyne Manhattan Group, working through some DBE items for the demolition project. The DBE was, our disadvantaged business prize, was at 8-point-something%. Lemoyne has committed to 11%, and they continue to commit to higher percentages than just the basic goal. So we're working through that. GMP1, again, guaranteed maximum price. We're working through that. We've got some paperwork. We're working, like I said, just working through those numbers. But the main thing that's going to happen in that is what's called an RTR relocation, and I know that's technical side of the house, but it's basically for aircraft to talk to each other or talk to the tower while they're sitting on the ground. So that has to be relocated. But we're looking to have GMP1 out on the street, what's out on the street, approved, and with a groundbreaking prior to the end of this year for the new terminal project. And we will be inviting all the council to that event as well. I think that's, and here's a little animation of what the building is going to look like. This is fairly new. If you hit play, if it's down on the side. And so it's just a flyover of what the building's going to look like. This is from you driving up to the terminal building. Is it going? Not available. Okay, technical difficulties. We'll have it on our website, and you can see it. And I apologize for it not working, but it does fly around the building, and you can see what the buildings look like. Next step will be what the interior of the building is looking like. That's my presentation. Any questions for me?
Thank you so much for that presentation. I appreciate it. I don't see any council discussion at this time.
Thank you.
Okay, any blue cards?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's move to the next item, please. Can you please read number 12?
Ordinance 140, 28.
Neighborhood crime.
Neighborhood crime problem, national crime statistics.
Okay, at this time, I'll give the floor to Councilman Cone. I'm sorry, you hit it? Hit your request? All right, you got it, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I had requested that this be a discussion item in light of the national crime stats that came out and didn't reflect very well on the city of Lafayette. And I had a couple of constituents in the district I represent ask that we discuss this further as to what is the situation and what is being considered to address the issue. So I've asked our police chief, Toby Aguilar, to do so. Toby.
Good evening, everyone. It's good to be with y'all. I'm Toby Aguilar, and I guess we should first start with the report that was given a couple weeks ago. In the report that I saw, they indicated that the city of Lafayette was rated number 16 amongst cities across America in terms of the amount of burglaries. However, I did notice in the report that they referred to a couple times as Metro Lafayette, so that sort of got me wondering, and so we started doing research into these statistics which were gathered by the FBI on their annual the stats they gather from police departments across the country. And what we learned was that based on that number 16, that they got that number by looking at the statistics from what they called Metro Lafayette, which includes Lafayette Parish, Iberia Parish, Acadia Parish, St. Landry Parish, and St. Martin Parish. And so, at best, the report was misleading whenever they seemed to indicate that it was the city of Lafayette was rated number 16. And so I guess I wanted to start with that and let you guys know that where we do stand, the numbers that I have, and using 2016's data, which is the statistics that we saw, 2017 is still being gathered by the FBI. The city of Lafayette is ranked 135 for burglaries per 100K of people. So that's using the same sort of analogy they used to gather that earlier stat mentioned in the article. If you just look at the city of Lafayette among all cities that file information, the city of Lafayette is number 1,197th out of 9,576th. So these numbers are not the best, obviously, but we're not number 16 in the city of Lafayette. So I'm pleased to at least be able to tell you that. In 2016, as the report reflected, we had 1,028 burglaries in the city of Lafayette. In 2016, the Lafayette Police Department made 167 arrests, burglary arrests. In 2017, we made 160 arrests. So far in 2018, we've made 97 arrests so far, and that's just on burglaries. Just to give you an idea, other things that the Lafayette Police Department has been doing, we've put together extra overtime patrols specifically targeting burglary. So these are specific burglary details where we have officers working extra duty. So far, the numbers in 2018 are 103 overtime assignments in 2018 across the city of Lafayette. In addition to that, extra duty details, we've embarked on the Love It, Lock It campaign, trying to get the word out amongst our public that it is important that we be vigilant. It is important that we lock our things down. It's unfortunate that we live in a society where we have to worry about these things, but Lafayette is like no other city. We do have our share of issues. Love it, lock it means if you like your stuff, keep it. If you don't keep valuables in your vehicle at night. Guns, purses, money, things like that need to be taken, removed from the vehicle. Every vehicle needs to be locked at night. We've been spreading the message through our neighborhood trust walks. We've had information booths, and we will continue to have them. We have some scheduled in the fall at Moncus Park on Saturdays, at the Horse Farm, also at Rhythms at the River. We have these public signs that we do put on display. The precinct captains put them in areas where we're seeing increased activities. We've been on the radio talking about it. We've been on television talking about it. And we're hoping to invest in a new software program. We're applying for a grant now, which will enable the Lafayette Police Department to proactively predict where the next burglaries may occur. So it's sort of some interesting technology that we are attempting to get our hands on right now. And so those are just some of the things that we're working on to help improve our numbers here in Lafayette. And so with that, I would encourage all of our citizens, please dial 911 when you see anything suspicious. It does not have to be an emergency. We want you to call because we need the documentation. Knowing what's going on helps us know how we should better respond. So we do encourage our citizens, let us know when you see something suspicious, lock your vehicles at night, and stay vigilant.
Thank you, Chief. That's it.
Thank you, Chief. I know we have at least one citizen, perhaps more, who wish to address the council with, in regards to what you just discussed. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Chief. Blue cards?
We have one speaker, David Trahan.
Good evening. I live in the Oaklawn Heights subdivision. We've had a chronic problem with burglaries. And with all due respect, Chief, you didn't give us any answers for any solution. I don't claim to have the answers. I've been there a resident for 20 years. I've had my house burglarized. Probably a dozen occasions, theft off the carport, cars broken into. I know there's got to be some research that can be pulled from other municipalities where we can look, maybe some video surveillance or other solutions. I understand the state of Louisiana has a program where they do assist financially with video surveillance. We may have to contribute privately for the balance of this. We need to research this. I'm just here complaining because as long as I've been there and as many issues as we've had, I've never been contacted by the police or anybody on one time. So it's high time we address it. I think my neighborhood is bad. I understand the whole city's bad. Okay? I think you guys realize that. We're all taxpayers. We're all citizens. We deserve a fair shake in this. And I'm leaning on you guys to try to come up with some research, Chief included, with his people. Let's see if we can come up with a solution. If there's some type of video surveillance, if we can close some entrances and exits to the neighborhood, get it back down to where it used to be. I don't think there's been any issues with emergency vehicles. So let's take a look at everything, the whole part, and let's see if we can come up with a solution where we can try to avoid ourselves of this problem. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Any other speakers? Okay. All right, we're gonna move to ordinances for final adoption. I'm gonna use chair's privilege. I need to move item 14 up, and then we'll take 13 right after that. So can you read ordinance number 14, please?
Ordinance 142, 2018, an ordinance of the Lafayette City Parish Council authorizing the Lafayette Mayor President to accept donations of funds and materials to construct Lafayette Transit System bus stop shelters and to amend the then current operating budget of the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government to account for receipt and expenditure of granted funds.
Okay, need a motion and a second. Motion by Councilwoman Liz and a second by Councilwoman Nanette Cook. Council discussion. Ms. Liz, you have the floor.
Thank you, Chairman, and also thank you for moving me up one spot. I do appreciate it. I want to call up some of the people that I've invited here tonight, some of my donors that have already pledged to support the project. Come on up, come up to the podium. I'd like, first, thank you for staying for the meeting. I do appreciate it. I know it's been a long one. I'd like for each of you to take a moment just to introduce yourselves, your business or company, and tell us how many bus stops you've adopted and why it's so important to you.
Good evening. My name is Iman Matar, and I am a computer engineer, and I am here to represent the Islamic Center of Lafayette as a board member. The Islamic Center of Lafayette is honored to be part of the bus stop shelter program and to sponsor the bus stop shelter beside the police station in Penhawk. These shelters will protect Lafayette residents who use public transportation from the hot weather, rain, and storms, and it will provide a bench for the elderly and those with disabilities to sit on while waiting for the bus. Thanks to Councilwoman Iper for her initiative that will provide immediate and impactful improvements in the day-to-day life for many of Lafayette residents. When Liz announced the need for businesses and individuals to sponsor a bus stop shelter, the Islamic Center of Lafayette didn't hesitate to say, "We are in." It's a great pleasure for ICL to be among the first sponsors of the program. It's within our responsibilities to provide help and support for such programs that take care of our community. This is our first sponsored bus stop shelter, and it will not be the last. The Islamic Center of Lafayette is always here to help our community, and we look forward to participating in future initiatives benefiting the people of Lafayette. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Noah Brandon. I'm the Chief Operating Officer of Unitech Training Academy. We're on Ambassador Caffrey, and we teach allied health for adult learners, and we have at any given time anywhere between 5 and 25 of our students that ride public transportation Monday through Friday, and we are really happy to participate in the initiative, and we're adopting a bus stop outside of our campus at 3205 Ambassador Caffrey. We're looking at potentially doing another one across the street because students are coming from both ways, and we just believe in it. We're really happy to be a part of it, and thanks. I think you can do away with my blue card because that's what I thought that was. So thank you for having me.
Hi, my name is Emily Hamner. I'm the Executive Director for the Pinhook Foundation. We are adopting, along with my cousins, the Pews, a bus stop at the North Side Walmart. We back a lot of nonprofits here in our community, and we feel like that was a very high ridership bus stop, and look forward to helping the people of our community.
I brought a visual. Yes. Oh,
Hi,
yes.
my name is Jay Stipe. I'm the Executive Director of Lourdes Foundation. Liz came to us to talk about this initiative several months ago, and as luck would have it, we were actually in the process of developing a bus stop on our campus. We had a stop, but it was not covered. And so many of our team members come from all areas of the city and had to wait in the rain or the the sun. And so we were able, because of Liz's initiative, to connect with a vendor and contractors to make this possible. So this is our first bus stop. It's actually on our campus. So we completed it, and we had the ribbon cutting a couple of weeks ago, August 10th, actually. And we hope this to be one of maybe two, at least two more, one maybe on our campus here at St. Landry, and one other right outside our campus at Ambassador Caffrey. So we're so happy to have been a part of this.
Hi, my name is Vicki Brignac, and I'm Marketing Director for McDonald's. And thank you, Liz, for your passion and dedication for this program. When she met with EJ Crampy and I, we just knew that it was a good fit. We support it 100%, and we are purchasing, to start off with, 3 locations: Willow, Johnson Street, Martin Luther King, corner of Cooper. Thank you.
Thank you all. I also included a little bit of information in y'all's folder. So we have over 600 bus stops that are uncovered in Lafayette. And as you all know, gone through the budget, LCG can only afford to budget 11 a year. So it would take almost barely my lifetime, and I'm so young. So barely my lifetime to get all, I had to say that, yeah. In my lifetime to get these covered. And although I have the luxury of being able to travel by car, many others don't. And it's no secret that Lafayette does have a traffic problem. And I hope that you may not convince my generation or Bruce's generation to start taking vehicles, but start taking the bus. But you may convince the next generation that convenience, safety, and covered shelters, they will start taking the bus and not travel by car. And then also, it just makes sense as far as a recruitment and economic development standard for me is when you bring people to Lafayette and show them how great Lafayette is, and they see people standing in the rain or standing in, laying on the ground because there's not even a bench, it makes us look like we don't care about our community. And so for nothing else, I felt that this was something that Lafayette needed. We always talk about public-private partnerships and how we would love to do them, and I felt like this was a great opportunity. Even though we've had a few people here to speak, we had 3 others that were not able to be here. One being the University of Lafayette. They've committed to adopting every bus stop on their campus, which is 5 bus stops. Lafayette General has committed to adopting 8 bus stops at every single one of their hospital locations. And Lafayette Parish School System is adopting 1 in front of Lafayette High. And that's just the start of all this. And I want to thank you all for coming. And if any council members would like to donate, I'm more than happy to accept a check from you. So just let me know. Same for the administration. But thank you all to the community. Right now, we're starting off with the original $6,000 donation to build the structure, which like what you saw on the picture from Our Lady of Lourdes. It covers the stop, a light, a trash can, all the concrete that goes underneath, all that for $6,000. And then right now we're looking for people to adopt the actual stop, but we will be opening it up for individual donations for anyone who even wants to donate something as little as $5. The funds are being held at the Community Foundation of Acadiana, so all donations are tax deductible. Why I'm coming to the council is I do need a line item on our budget to be able to move funds once I raise a $6,000 or get a $6,000 check to move it from CFA to LCG to be able to build the stop. So none of you reached out with questions, but I'm certainly happy to answer them, and I appreciate your support on this incredible project. Thank you all.
Okay, thank you. Councilman Terrio.
Real quick, and maybe include Ms. Aber on this, if you don't mind. In dealing with the Community Foundation of Acadiana, the money's donated directly to them, and then LCG will have to create a line item in order to take that in. Is that what I'm hearing correctly? Ms. Stoops? And how often would that be done annually?
So what, are you asking how often we'll move money over?
Yeah.
Whenever I reach $6,000, so whether you, Mr. Terrio, decide to write me a $6,000 check to adopt a stop, that money will then go from the Community Foundation automatically to the LCG budget to be spent once we build that stop. Or say the individual donations eventually add up to that $6,000, then we adopt the next highest need stop and pay for that one.
And each stop is $6,000?
Yes, we're only covering, of course, there are some that are way more because maybe the structure, maybe it's off the side of a ditch, but I'm only covering the ones in the $6,000 range.
And who builds the structures?
LCG, just like they would the 11 stops we have.
So which means that LCG is incurring expenses also on this in the construction phase. It's $6,000. Does that entail LCG's time in order to construct it?
Yes, sir.
So everything is 6,000?
Yes, sir.
Time, materials, everything?
Yes, sir. And including the sign, we're using our in-house traffic department, the same signs that you see as our street signs. Those are being used to acknowledge who adopted the stop.
And each one of the individuals who pays for this or contributes to it, how does that work for advertising on each one of those?
For simplicity's sake and to make them as durable and last as long as possible, like I mentioned, we are using the signs that we use for street signs on just on the top of the structure. And that's it as far as advertising. I consider doing, more like what you see in the older traditional big poster signs, but I wanted something that was going to be long-lasting and durable and would be easy to maintain for cost's sake.
Okay. Final question. Why did we go through Community Foundation of Acadiana?
So it could be tax deductible and fully transparent. Anybody can, I didn't want to open up an account at a regular bank under my name.
Well, I've just noticed that
I mean, I
we
can,
use
but-
Community Foundation of Acadiana for a lot of things. Some
open-
yes and some no, but
They're well represented in this community because they're a reputable organization.
of the expenditure of the 6,000, I mean, on each one of these, I guess the administration or you, there is no cost to LCG on any of those?
No, sir.
None.
None.
And the reason we need a public-private partnership is for Community Foundation of Acadiana and LCG.
No, it's the.
I don't understand your question.
Well, you
What?
mentioned we need a public-private partnership earlier.
No, what I meant by that was that it's public in that we've already donate 11 bus stops. We already fund for 11 bus stops a year, so that's the public side. And the private side would be the private donors who want to be able to purchase bus stops and build bus stops in front of their businesses. So public-private partnership.
Hello, thanks.
Thank you.
Councilman Boudreaux?
Yeah, Mike, could you come up, please? As you approach, just a couple of things. I know when some considerations was given years and years ago, I think there may have been some concerns expressed with advertising on these public spaces and public things, and it even went into the transit system as it relates to our buses. Can you just kind of bring me up to speed on where we are with that and the ability for people to advertise on government property?
We allow entities to utilize the public space. It's not just for one company, but we could have multiple entities that pay that pay LCG the ability to advertise it, like some of our bus shelters and some bus benches. We have one vendor that does each. So one vendor does bus benches. Another is allowed to do bus shelters. Since we started purchasing bus shelters back in, I would say probably about 8 years ago, the shelters that LCG has purchased, we don't allow for advertising on those. It's just a regular shelter that with the solar powered light. And the ones that Ms. Hebert that will hopefully move forward with those, they won't have any advertising spaces either. But back years ago, we adopted not to continue moving forward with new shelters with advertising.
Right. So what is being identified at the top as I'm gonna call it the donor sponsor, you've gotten a legal opinion that would not be viewed as advertisement?
Correct. It just says sponsored by, I don't know the specific word, but I think it's kind of like the Adopt a Roadway program that we've had, and I think it's been pretty successful in public works overall, but it's very similar to that.
Okay, so, what's the plan going forward for the management of installations, the deployment and installations? So we have what we have done through our budget process, and then you got those sponsors who are coming in to do additional stops in addition to that. Give me an idea of how you all are going to manage locations.
Okay, we meet fairly often, I would say. Well, we meet monthly as a staff, and one of the items on our agenda is the potential location of bus stop shelters. We look at the number of buses that service a particular stop or the number of riders that utilize the stop. So those are kind of like pushed forward in the pecking order, so to speak. And then also one of the things that we gauge is, okay, well, do we have to go and purchase any right-of-way from the landowner? And those, in all honesty, we kind of push those down a little bit. So if it's within our right-of-way and we know that there's a couple of stops or it has a higher ridership number, then we'll go ahead and we'll move those forward. And then we'll correlate that to the list of shelters that we get from either,
Right, from the donations.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what you're gonna do, you're gonna take LCG's financial commitment to shelters, and then you're gonna take the donors' donations to shelters, and that pool together is gonna deploy your shelter program.
Correct.
Going forward.
Right.
Except if a donor selects a specific spot, location, I would assume.
Well, then we'll have, because we kind of have had some discussions like that. We will have some discussions with them about like where they're requesting the shelter to be, and then I would think that they would be, if they're willing to do what they've come to this point to do, then we can say, okay, well, maybe not this location, but this other site is one that we've kind of pinpointed, and would y'all be willing to support the shelter there? That's my belief. It's kind of similar to what we've done. I know that you and I have kind of worked together on one in particular, and where to locate that on Alexander. So that's the dialogue that we would have with the prospective.
So basically, you're trying to maintain the process as you know it today. You're trying to deploy that just in a greater capacity.
Correct.
Right. It's not about deviating
No,
from that process.
No.
Yeah. All right, that's all I have. Thank you.
Councilman Lewis.
Thank you. Okay, Mike, I have a question. I think I heard about you guys going to continue with the 11, that budget through the LCG, continue on 11 bus shelter a year.
We've actually, I think, broken ground. Most of those will be done by the end of this year. I think, I tried to check today, but they've broken the ground on that. We haven't poured yet, and I thought we were supposed to pour this week, but with pending bad weather, it'll probably have to be pushed back a little bit.
My question is with the donation, what I'm hearing today, but the LCG will still commit to 11 a year with the donation of, I think, how many you say it is?
Yes,
This
we
year
will.
so far, how many?
11. We will, LCG will continue to do their
with the-
11. In fact, Warren, if you wouldn't mind coming up as well? Because I'm sorry, I've worked so closely with Warren on this project, so, but if you can confirm that we will.
Yeah, our
move
current money, we will do as many as we can with the LCG money. Any private money will supplement the LCG money. So it's not going to replace it. So we'll do what we would normally do plus any funds raised.
Okay, now I hear that we're talking about shelter, they will be covered. So have you guys taken into consideration about the safety? Because you put them in certain location, it might be a blind spot for some of these.
Yes. Yes, we have.
I have taken that into consideration. Because I heard, I think someone McDonald's on Cooper Street and on the north side. I know these streets are pretty narrow. So y'all have that all in the works, where they're gonna be and what have you.
All the shelters have solar lights, and actually we're testing out a location on Johnson Street with just, unfortunately, just has the sign, but there's a little solar light, and it has like a little push the button thing. So if a person is standing at that stop, it's near Johnson and Brentwood, and they press it and then it'll illuminate the area, kind of like this. And so that a passerby cars passing by can see the person under the.
Okay, so these shelters will be constructed through LCG, a warehouse that we have, that's where it'll be constructed?
Yes.
Or, so we're talking about $6,000 with cement, installation, the whole 9 yards?
Yeah, so what we did is we looked at the 100 highest boarded bus stops, and then we street viewed them and looked at which one would be about $6,000. $6,000 gets you a pad on the back of the sidewalk and a structure. No open ditch, it has to have a sidewalk. There's a couple of attributes that have to be to hit that $6,000 mark. So we came up with roughly 60 system-wide that meet that criteria by working our way down the highest boardings.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you. That's all I have. Thanks.
Councilwoman Nanette Cook.
Sorry, I just have a quick question for both of y'all. And first of all, I want to tell Liz, I think this is an awesome program. I think it's something that the community definitely needs, and I commend you for your hard work on it. But I want to know if there's a business that makes the donation and wants a particular stop, like in front of their business, do they need approval from the city as far as, I mean, you're talking about how you have a program of these particular areas that you're looking at, that you're going first. If a business were to come forward and they wanted a bus stop in front of their establishment and they were putting up the $6,000.
If it's reasonable for us to move the bus stop, we will. We'll try to be as accommodating as possible. There may be a scenario where we can't for whatever reason, but we would try to be as accommodating as possible.
Okay, all right, that's what I need to know. Thank you.
Okay. Councilman Terrio.
Just real quick, what's the cutoff of a donation to where they have the influence as to where the bus stop will be?
6,000 was the number?
Yeah, that 6,000 is the number I'm going after, but say a business wanted to adopt a stop right in front of their office, and I contact Warren and say, Warren, they want to adopt this particular spot in front of their business. Warren, and it's not on my $6,000, I know is that a range. He'll say, okay, well, looking at that, based on the things we have to do in order to get it ADA compliant and do this, do that, it would be, I'm throwing a number out there, so say $10,000. I would then go to the persons wanting to adopt the stop. They can say, sure, $10,000 means enough to me to get this in front of the stop. I'm willing to pay that additional amount. Or they could say, I've had some that say, ooh, $10,000 too steep, I'll just do the next $6,000.
So if we had one that's going for 6,000, and you have a donor that donates, I don't know, $2,000, but they have an idea of where they'd like to see one, how is that going to be?
The only way you get naming rights and get to select a stop is if you pay the $6,000.
The whole
If you
amount?
pay the whole amount in order to adopt, and you'll see in the information I put in here, it says got you covered level is 6,000. Rain check sponsor is 3,000. It covers 50% of the cost of the covered stop. And what that means is, say you and I owned a business next door to each other, you and I can split that $6,000 and both have our name on there. That's the only way you can get to select where your stop goes. Anything else will just go into that general pot that will eventually add up to the $6,000. And then Warren and his team I think it was last year, you guys did a survey and a tally of the highest transit needs from highest to lowest, and then we are just going to go next to the highest in line, the highest need.
Okay.
Councilman Boudreaux.
Yeah, thank you. Warren, I want to clarify something you just said. No one could pay to place a stop in front of their place of business.
Well, the list we provided were existing stops.
Right.
I don't know how much we discussed this scenario if somebody wanted to pay and move it in front of their business.
Why would that even be considered?
I mean, from my
Yeah,
standpoint.
when we have regulated locations based on engineering and transportation, we've moved stops from across the street to go in different directions. We're not gonna have a pay-to-play. It's not gonna be the rich person gets the privilege with this program. I could tell you right now, if someone could pay to place a stop in front of their business, we on a slippery slope. That's not what I understood. Existing stops, adopting a stop that's in a specific location now, but we're not gonna deviate from traffic engineering as it relates to where we locate stops for public transit just because somebody can afford to pay for it.
The scenario I had in my head whenever the question was asked was that maybe the stop, like no changing routes, maybe the stop is one property owner over, like an insignificant move, as me and Mike would call it, maybe 100 feet down to a property owner. In no way was I thinking that routes would change or any significant change to the system would happen because of that.
Mr. Boudreaux, if you don't mind, so we had this very similar example happen, is that a particular shelter in Lafayette reached out to me and said, we would love to get a shelter, a bus stop in front of our shelter, named in front of our shelter. And she said, but it's 2-3 blocks down. Can we get it moved over? We said, I reached out to Warren. Warren said no, because it's where it needs to be. So no, he will not just move it to pay to play, rich person wins.
But that's not what he just said. What you
Well, I
saying and
think-
what he just said is two
right.
different things.
I understand,
We
but I
need
think he
clarity
maybe
on that.
yeah, he clarified it.
we-
No, please understand that this is not what this is about. This is simply about people who own businesses or community leaders who want to cover their employees and take care of their neighbor. This is not about person who writes the highest check wins. That's absolutely not what this is about. And let it be known, this is not what I want this project to be about. So understand that.
So my specific questions to you as the traffic engineer is, will we be deviating from our current process of locating spots based on a donation? Because what Councilman Abed just said and what you said was two different things. And we have had many conversations, and I've had to go against constituents because they were being let down on the northbound, and that has changed because the traffic patterns now they're on the southbound, and they got to do different things. Businesses have opened in a different area. Everything has been engineered sound, and that's something I could stand behind. But that I need to be clear on this, because this is really the only opportunity to vote on such a thing.
Right, okay.
We need clarity like tonight. Is there going to be deviation? Is there any consideration for a donor to be able to name their location? 1 lot over or 10 blocks over? Can a person making a donation name their location? If so,
Ryan, you want to come on up? Introduce yourself.
Correspondent before. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Ryan Gowdlock. I assisted Councilwoman Hebert. I assisted Councilwoman Hebert with the drafting of this ordinance and the negotiation with Community Foundation of Acadiana. I think your question, Councilman Boudreaux, is most easily answered by the fact that these funds go to the Community Foundation of Acadiana. They belong to that nonprofit. They go there for the tax deductibility purposes. CFA's disbursement to LCG is not conditioned on relocation of a stop. So CFA is not going to take a donation from a particular donor or group of donors on a condition that, oh, I get a bus stop moved where I want it. That's not CFA's process. They are not going to do that. So even if a donor came and was represented, well, this is a condition of me giving this money, CFA would not take that money, and we would not be able to access it, so we would not be able to construct a shelter for that stop, much less move the stop. So that can't happen, not because we don't want it to, even though I understand your reasons that we don't. It can't happen because CFA will not allow that to happen. We would not be able to get reimbursement for money spent in that fashion. Does that make sense?
well, it makes sense from a legal mind. I want my engineer to come to the mic and say, no, that will not happen, and then I am done. But you have to have an appreciation for some of the challenges they have faced for our sight impaired, our obese individuals, in many other classes of people who they've moved stops because of traffic patterns. And people have become frustrated behind it, but we've been able to say, but this is what the engineering calls for. I'm not able to stand behind somebody saying we're doing it because, Kenneth put up $10,000 and he want to stop in front of his house, because that's where the stop was. You could go to 301 12th Street now. My parents' home, the actual shelter was our front porch. And we welcomed the people who came there to wait for the bus outside the rain. So I support shelters. I think this is great, but even great things must be proper and in order. So, and I know the conversations I've had with these gentlemen. That's what I heard the legal explanation, and now I need the engineer no, and I'm good.
All right, so I'm going to say no. I'm going to go with a no. But I just want to quantify that me and Mike get requests to move bus stops all the time. And it's not unreasonable that if we receive a reasonable request to move a bus stop, that we will do it to try to be as accommodating as possible. So that's kind of where I was coming from. So I will tell you tonight, I'll go on record as saying no.
And I can tell you, he's pretty adamant about that because I've been waiting for a stop sign request for a long time.
This is bus stops.
But it's still a sign. And he ain't jumped and moved to help me and Mr. Lewis out fast. So I don't think he's going to make a quick decision. I think it'll be a well-thought-out process.
Well, I could tell you, this is in LCG's best interest, and Ryan, that's why he handled it that way. But that's what we needed to, because the discussion had kind of gotten to the point where someone could have bought their stop, and that could be a problem.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Hey,
Thank you.
That's all. All right, thanks. Just to be clear, we want to just cover these existing stops. That's what the
That's
ultimate
correct.
goal is, so that those people with the current stops have a shelter.
Correct.
Okay,
In a seat, in a
In a
trash
seat.
can.
I got you.
Thank
All right,
you.
not seeing it. Oh, Councilman Lewis.
I have a question. You just made a comment that this is only to cover the existing stops. I'm understanding it's to create new stops and
No,
build
it's to
more shelters.
cover current stops.
The stops that are there now, we just
Correct.
want to cover the stops.
Correct.
Shelter.
The shelters.
Yep.
Correct.
Okay, just make sure.
And that's where Mr. Boudreaux was going, where if the money started coming in, all of a sudden, is that going to be buying new spots and, hey, I want
No.
to stop here? And that's why they were just saying that the answer is no. That's,
no.
money's not driving that factor.
Good enough.
Okay. Not seeing any other council discussion, any blue cards on this matter?
No, sir?
Okay, please call the vote.
District 5? District 6?
Yes.
District 7?
Yes.
District 8?
Yes.
District 9?
Yes.
District 1?
Yes.
District 2?
Yes.
District 3?
Yeah.
District 4? The motion is approved.
All right, now we'll go up to item 13.
Ordinance 140, 2018, an ordinance of the Lafayette City Parish Council declaring the rear mobile home located at 303 Lowranger Drive, Lafayette, Louisiana, owned by Lawrence N.M.I. Doré, care of Gerald J. Block, attorney appointed, to be dilapidated and dangerous to the public welfare, and ordering the condemnation of same.
Okay, need a motion in a second. Motion by Councilman Bellard, second by Councilwoman Annette Cook. Any council discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Randy Viator, do you, anything you need to update us on? Okay. All right, any blue cards?
Yes, we do have one speaker, Lawrence Doré.
Okay.
He can't hear, so I won't be able to write every word down that you say, but if you have a specific question, I'll write it down so that he can respond. And he also has a photo for you.
I'm not seeing any,
Does he want to speak?
does,
Yes, he does.
Speak
Do you want
now.
to speak?
And if you could bring me the photo, I'll get it to the council.
I'll bring it to you.
is it this one right here?
Who wants it?
You go ahead.
Over there. I've got, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
I've got an old trailer that I use for storage. And somebody is claiming that it's dilapidated and dangerous. You've got a picture that, I kind of like to keep it. It's safe and secure. And about 2 years ago, Metro Code people came and inspected that same trailer. And they said they were satisfied with it if I would just board it up. And it's been boarded up for the past 2 years. And it's in good condition, it's just boarded up. It's not dilapidated, it's not dangerous.
Are you still using it for storage?
I'll write it down for him.
Yeah.
And what is being stored?
Yeah, I'm still using it for storage, yes. I've got, well, members of the family have died, and I've inherited a lot of furniture and tools and equipment, and that's where I'm keeping it, in the trailer.
Okay, Mr. Randy, can you come up? I have the other podium mic for you.
Oh.
All right. Help this council out right here. Understand it's been storage, family belongings. We asked them to board it up a couple of years ago. Shed some light, please.
Yeah, we received the complaint in August of 2015. We sent him a first letter detailing what repairs are needed. He did not sign for the certified letter. We had received another complaint, and we sent another certified letter in February of 2016. About July, August, we received another complaint from Ms. Cook concerning this building, and we started the process to get the papers condemned. The pictures you have were taken this morning, and you can see the roof is collapsing. Mr. Dore spoke to me about a month ago. I tried to convince him to accept the demolition grant with, I think he could qualify, and it could be torn down free of charge for him.
I don't think he, did you send him it written?
No, he came in the office and spoke to me.
And he probably, he may have not understood.
Yeah.
Let me just write it for him.
I know he's hard of hearing, I know
Well,
that, yeah.
the thing is I think sometimes he just catches bits and pieces.
Oh, okay.
So you say a demolition
Grant through community development, that it could be demolished free of charge.
Is that offer still available, or it's done past?
No, he could still qualify. I
Through
mean,
who, sir? Who is it through?
Community development.
Community.
And I'll give y'all a card to where you could call me and I could give y'all all that information.
Yes, if you have anything written down, because his hearing is just really
Mr.
bad. As
Randy.
a matter of fact, he was sitting there and he wouldn't even be able to hear you. So,
Yeah, I just want to make sure it's clarified. So
for a demolition grant through the community
Development.
development.
Ma'am, he'll get with you when we're done with this to make sure you have everything. Right now, I don't want to waste it. I want to help you out with letting him clarify that if we move forward with this tonight, you still have an opportunity to get with his office.
Yes.
And then file for that grant.
Yes.
So no matter what action we take here tonight, if we vote to go ahead and condemn it and do our process, you still have time to apply for that grant.
Yes.
Okay? All right. Mr. Terry.
Okay, I have to ask, and ma'am, if you can pick this up too, but Randy, on this picture right here on the bottom left side here, that does not appear to be a mannequin there. What is that?
No, it's someone that was sleeping. I gotta assume there was a homeless person because they were kind of getting in the mobile home.
Do you have homeless people who are trying to?
Sir, this one particular person has He's been taken off to jail, but he just keeps coming back. In that neighborhood, there are quite a few people that are bringing him coats and food and cigarettes and things. My father, he just, you know, he says he can't get him to leave. He just stays. He keeps coming back. Okay. He has family down the road somewhere, I hear. I don't know.
Okay, well.
He would really like him off the property, but I don't know.
Get in touch with the police on that, but there's one thing I wanted to confirm. On another one of these pictures that we have, not what you provided, but additional ones, the roof is caved in. It looks like the rafters it's come all the way down to the floor of the trailer.
The rafters, you mean the ceiling?
Yeah.
Sir, well, I know that a tree had fallen at some point where you can probably see the dent in the roof, the front of the trailer, and that could have caused the roof to fallen in. Yes, sir. There had been a tree that had fallen into the coulee.
That's today.
That fell in today? Oh, that's today?
That's a picture from today, right, Randy? Yes.
Of the roof?
Yes.
Yes.
From inside?
Yes.
You were able to go inside?
I wasn't inside, but another inspector took a picture of it.
Oh, he was able to walk inside?
Well, no, stick the camera inside.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Let me, but it's true, a tree did fall, and there's still a remnant of that tree on the property. Let's see. Should I write this for you?
I tell you what, hang on, look, we're gonna move forward
Yes,
on this. I
yes.
just wanted to point out to you the pictures we had today.
Yes, sir.
As was mentioned by the chair earlier, even if we move forward with this, you still have an opportunity to resolve this. If you work with this nice gentleman right here,
And he does seem nice.
I'm sure
Yes,
everything's
sir.
gonna come out
I
okay.
I would be happy to help.
That's all I have.
All right,
And
thank you,
ma'am,
sir.
could you state your name for the record, so as a point of contact?
Yes, my
for
name
him?
is Deborah Couvillon.
Okay. Thank you, Randy.
Will
And
that be all for today, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Thank you for
you
coming.
all have a nice evening.
All right,
Thank you very much.
All right. Okay, that ends the blue cards. Any council discussion? Please call the vote.
District 6,
Yes.
District 7,
Yes.
District 8,
Yes.
District 9.
Yes.
District 1,
Yes.
District 2,
Yes.
District 3, District 4, District 5. The motion is approved.
Okay, now we'll get back to our regular scheduled order, starting on item 15, moving forward.
Ordinance 143, 2018, an ordinance of the Lafayette City Parish Council amending the fiscal year 17-18 operating budget of the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government to adjust amounts for the full cost allocation plan for administrative and general costs to actual.
Motion by Councilman Bellard and a second by Councilman Boudreaux. Any council discussion? Seeing none, blue cards? Please call the roll.
District 7,
Yes.
District 8,
Yes.
District 9, District 1,
Yes.
District 2,
Yes.
District 3,
Yes.
District 4, District 5, District 6.
Yes.
The motion is approved. Ordinance 144, 2018, an ordinance of the Lafayette City Parish Council setting forth and designating the ad valorem tax, millage rates, and imposing taxes on all property subject to ad valorem taxation in the city of Lafayette and the parish of Lafayette, and authorizing the assessor and tax collector for the parish of Lafayette to assess and collect property taxes for 2018. Be it ordained by the Lafayette City Parish Council that whereas the Lafayette City Parish Council is the governing
We were looking at some revised statute here, but it just says that you shall read aloud the description of the item, which we've done already. We thought you had to read it in full.
Okay, because I was wondering.
Reading of the title will be sufficient as far as the description of the item.
So what she read, the actual ordinance ending in?
Title.
Okay. Councilman Bellard jumps quick for a motion. And we have a second for Councilwoman Nanette Cook. Any council discussion? Seeing none at this time, is there any blue cards?
Yes, sir. Andrew Abear signed in as a registered city voter and a registered parish voter.
I see my time has started. There are two classes of people here. There's the City of Lafayette class, registered voters, taxpayers, and the Parish of Lafayette, registered voters and taxpayers. So I would like to know which taxpayer you're going to recognize me to speak tonight. I'd like to speak as a city voter, taxpayer, and a parish voter, taxpayer.
You come here all the time doing the same thing, saying the same thing. The answer's the same. I'm going to let you speak as a city, a parish, all in one with 5 minutes.
Then I will demonstrate to you the effect of your decision. As a parish voter, you give us 5 minutes to speak on tax issues. It's a shame that the CREATE tax, the 5% or $5 million you set aside for CREATE, you could have set aside for general fund of the parish and would have solved some of those parish budget document problems you have instead of going to CREATE. That would have been an easy solution. But no, you decided to throw in CREATE as a tax proposition. So us taxpayers of the parish get to vote separately, decide separately. You pass ordinances to call for elections separately. Now, I, as a city taxpayer, do not get the 5 minutes those taxpayers get. You decide my class of citizen does not count separately. Although you ask me as a separate property taxpayer to vote for a separate property tax, and you count my vote separately, you don't give him 5 minutes. You give me 5 minutes because I'm one. I'm just parish, parish one. But the city taxpayers, you don't let them speak separately on the budget issues. And what's interesting is you passed a resolution to call for an amendment to the charter. And in it says, on the budget items, it's a joint meeting. So in that joint meeting, will only parish residents get 5 minutes as a parish resident? Or we citizens of the city of Lafayette will get equal treatment as that parish resident for taxes, for voicing our opinion? Is that what America's about? Freedom of speech, due process, equal treatment under the law? Do I have equal taxation with representation in this council as a city resident? No, I don't. But I, as a parish resident, do. Why is that? Is that fair? The people of the parish and the city voted to merge the two governments. I'm going to use the F word. You failed. You've been failing for 22 years to fix the problem, to merge the two governments. That the people voted on. You wouldn't have the parish fire district funding problem if you had one parish-wide fire district, inclusive of all 8 fire units. That would have been a solution. That would have been a true merger of the parish into one. You wouldn't need those city voters anymore. You wouldn't need those city people to talk. Why don't you give us a voice? Why don't you let us speak 5 minutes on just city issues? Table this issue, bail it, put it out as 2 separate ordinances so the city of Lafayette residents can have a voice separate because of their separate property taxes. And those of us who are parish residents can have an equal voice, just like those city residents should have an equal voice. That is what is called fair government. That is the F word. Fair, truth, honesty. Is that what you're about? Or are you just going to do the charade of acting like a government? I don't think it's fair to the citizens of the city of Lafayette to be treated as second-class citizens. Lafayette Parish 1 is the solution.
Any other speakers? Okay. Seeing none, please call for the vote.
District 8,
Yes.
District 9, District 1,
Yes?
District 2,
Yes.
District 3,
Yes.
District 4,
Yes.
District 5, District 6,
Yes.
District 7. The motion is approved. Ordinance 148, 2018, an ordinance of the Lafayette City Parish Council amending the fiscal year 17-18 operating budget of the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government by adjusting the manning tables to reallocate salaries in the District Attorney's Office non-support division and to be 100% funded by said division.
I need a motion in a second. Motion by Councilman Bellard. Second by Councilwoman Annette Cook. Seeing any council discussion? Seeing none? Blue cards? Call the roll.
District 9,
Yes.
District 1,
Yes.
District 2,
Yes.
District 3,
Yes.
District 4,
Yes.
District 5,
Yes.
District 6,
Yes.
District 7,
Yes.
District 8.
Yes.
The motion is approved. Ordinance 149, 2018, an ordinance of the Lafayette City Parish Council amending the fiscal year 17-18 capital budget of the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government by authorizing the use of the PY fund balance in the amount of $350,000 and appropriating within the Office of the Chief Administrative Officer, Juvenile Detention Division for roof replacement.
Okay, need a motion in a second. Motion by Councilman Bellard. Second by Councilman Castillo. Not seeing any council discussion at this time. Blue cards?
No, sir.
Call the roll.
District 1,